delay the stream a little bit to get that connected. Both starting off with a pretty strong mushroom over the first turn of the course. Very important to use your mushrooms while you are drifting. It gives you a little mini extra speed boost. Oh no, Lewis unfortunately hitting a thwomp right at the very start. That's going to be a bad look for further in this race. Going to mess up the thwomp patterns and make it a lot harder to figure out what's going on, but that's still alright. We don't want to count out anyone. With the course as difficult as Bowser's Castle, anybody can win. All it takes is one wrong mistake and you're stuck all the way in the back getting squished by the thwomp. Brian's coming in to finish around their first track. First lap of 39.32, while Lewis gets a 41.37. Over 2 seconds ahead. Oop, has to cut it to the left. Barely gets past the thwomps. Unfortunately gets stuck, and that will cost him a little bit. Roughly even at this point. Both going across the bridge, being very careful not to fall on that bridge, as that'll lose them a lot of time. Oh no! Brian unfortunately bonks into the wall there and uses the shroom to get a little bit of speed back. That'll cost them a bunch of time in this race. Both competitors messing up a little bit so far, but right now it is Lewis in the lead, going into lap 3 with a time of 38.82 into lap 3. 44.36 for the second lap for Brian. Relatively slower. That's pretty unfortunate. That's alright. Let's see what can happen in this third lap. Oh, in time trials of this course, those actually just 2 thwomps there instead of 3. It makes it much easier than in 150cc to actually get by there. Alright, Lewis makes it past the bridge. Let's see what Brian can do. Both of them playing fast characters. Lewis playing Toad, Brian playing Yoshi, equally tied in speed. And it looks like the first race will go to Lewis with a sub 2 minute time of 1:58.78. Alright, let me put that up on the stream real quick for you guys. First track, Bowser's Castle. Congratulations to Lewis for winning the first race with a 1:58.78. Better luck next time to Brian getting a 2:02.74. Save that and have that show up live on the stream. Alright, so next up it goes to Lewis, the winner of that race.
We'll go Calamari.
Going straight to Calamari Desert. Alright, you guys make your way there and I'll give the countdown.
I knew this was coming.
You knew it was coming. Going straight to Calamari, one of their not as good tracks. Let's see what can happen on this one. I'll give you guys the countdown. Alright, give me a 3, 2, 1, go. Both of their PRs relatively close, their best records within half a second of each other. Okay. Alright, and they are off. Brian hit Marty on lap 2. I believe Lewis hit Marty on lap 1. Brian just had slight driving mistakes on lap 2 of Bowser's Castle, but both using the mushroom immediately out of the gate to skip across the very beginning, using that mini turbo to extend the mushroom speed a little bit longer, cutting very close to the inside. Brian looks to be taking it a little bit sharper than Lewis. Not really sure if that'll affect them at this point or not. Fun little tidbit here, you can actually see that the billboards are not different depending on the version. Both of them finishing really close. Brian around a 1/10 of a second faster. Here's the hard part though, are they going to be able to get past the train? It looks like they both do, barely making it in front of the train. Pretty difficult trick to be able to do. Very hard, trust me. I have definitely hit that train lots of times. Both cutting it very soon, and both using the shroom on this second lap. Cut across that little patch of dirt there. Even without a shroom, that dirt doesn't slow you down long enough to even be worth going around. It is actually faster to cut across that dirt, even without a shroom. they're both still really even. It's hard to tell who's in the lead at this point. Really neck and neck. Not really gonna have to worry about this third train though. Or will they? Let's find out. Doesn't look like it. No train. Oh, there it is. Will they be able to make it past? And they do both make it past. That's a pretty important train to be able to make it past. If you hit that, there goes your chances of winning the race. Both making it back, cutting across the dirt there to make it back on the road. This is going to come down to the wire. Who's going to win? Oh, man. It's anyone's game. Oh, and it goes to Lewis. It goes to Lewis by 0.08 of a second. That was so close. Lewis with a time of 1:47.80 and Brian with a time of 1:47.88. It couldn't get any closer, only a couple of frames separating them. Let's get that on the screen right now for you guys. 47.80 as well as 1:47.88. Great job to Lewis. Better luck next time to Brian. Barely losing that one. That count is now 2 tracks, Lewis to Brian. Brian, it is now back on your count. Where would you like to go? Where would you like to go, Brian?
Perhaps Snowland.
Perhaps Snowland. Alright, one of the snowy levels in this game. Let's see how close they cut it to the out-of-bounds area. This level is surrounded by a lot of out-of-bounds. You guys both make their way to that area right now. And I'll give the countdown. You guys ready?
Yes.
Alright. Countdown in 3, 2, 1, and go.
Okay.
Okay. Wait for a little bit of stream delay to go away before actually watching these races. You can see the PR of Lewis uses a shortcut there versus the non-shortcut PR of Brian on the right-hand side. That's why it's so much faster in the upper left-hand corner. Alright, we are getting into it. This is a really interesting track because there's a couple points where you're coming pretty close to out of bounds, especially using the shroom. One wrong move, and it's toast for your chance of winning this race. Both jumping over the little river there, taking a relatively quick path. Look at how close they get to out of bounds here. Ooh, Brian going over the hill on the right while Lewis cutting through the snowman. Wonder if that'll have any effect on the outcome of this race. Let's check on the end of this first lap. This end of this first lap coming up. Lewis already on the bridge, Brian going onto the bridge. Lewis with the 34.62 and Brian with the 35.05. Lewis seems to be pulling ahead. Making these mini turbos a little bit nicer. For those of you that don't know how a mini turbo works, basically you need to flick the stick back and forth a couple of times while driving. Ooh, here's this one mushroom really close to the edge there. Great job by both players. Basically, you need to flick the stick back and forth a couple of times while driving. Turn the letters yellow and then red, and then release the drift, and you'll give a nice little boost of speed. You'll see both of these players kind of chaining them together throughout the whole race, because it is really, really convenient to get all these boosts of speed, lowering your time and hopefully beating your opponent. Alright, Lewis looks to be going over the river right now. Brian a little bit farther behind. Unfortunately didn't catch their lap 2 times. Let's see how they do on lap 3. Both using that mushroom. Both getting pretty close. Oh no, Brian taking that turn a little bit wide. Has to correct. Very unfortunate, losing that rev of the speed. It looks like it's going to be Lewis's race to lose at this point. Only way to lose it is to fall in the water. And Lewis takes home another one with a 1:43.63. Compared to Brian's 1:45.56. What a great run by both of these competitors. Let's put this up on the stream for you guys right now. Fraps, no land. Where are you, Fraps? Where are you? There you are.
Let's go Luigi Raceway.
Luigi Raceway? Alright.
Luigi Raceway.
Alright. Next course looks to be Luigi Raceway, the simplest and easiest of courses. I wonder what will happen in this race. Luigi Raceway, basically just an actual raceway as opposed to all these crazy kooky courses that are on a lot of these other levels. In the meantime, though, you guys ready for the countdown?
I'm ready, yes.
Alright, let's get it started with a 3, 2, 1, go! Wait for this lag to see the start of this race. You guys okay? Okay. There we go, getting started. Alright, both starting off immediately with the mini turbo, trying to get as much of that speed as possible. You'll be seeing them do a technique called SSMTs, which is basically a trick to do mini turbos on straight lines in this game. Most of the time, as you do have to turn to do mini turbos, it's faster to do them around turns, but if you're really good, you can actually do them in a straight line. Right here you'll see them using one mushroom on each lap, it looks like, both of them going for the same route. Also, yeah, you'll see them doing straight mini turbos here. SSMTs as they're called. And the more of those you can do, the faster you'll go, so you really want to cram those out. You want to be careful here, just try and stay as close to the edge of the road as possible, trying to cut the corners as sharp as possible without going onto the grass itself. Oop. Brian unfortunately messing up a little bit there on that turn, but that's alright. Let's see. Oh, 2 mushrooms on the second lap, it looks like. No mushrooms going to be on the third lap. Faster to use both of them there to cut across even more of the grass. Alright, both of them doing those mini turbos. Lewis seems to have pulled a little bit far ahead, probably because of that one mistake on lap 2 by Brian. Very unfortunate. Very unfortunate mistake. Still, though, one bad mistake could easily lose the race, even at this point. And that appears to be it. Lewis taking set 1. Lewis taking set 1 with a time of 1:41.13 compared to Brian's time of 1:42.83, 1.7 seconds faster. So let's put that on there, up on the stream. 1.13, 13, not 14, compared to 1:42.83. That is the first set, which goes to Lewis. Congratulations to you. For now, let's see whose turn is it to pick. Which race are we going? Hello?
I have no idea whose turn it is.
It's Brian's pick.
Brian's pick. Oh yes, it is Brian's
Okay.
pick.
Just
So,
picks.
yes, Brian's
Okay.
pick.
Brian's pick.
Yeah,
Just set picks.
I'll go with Mario Raceway.
Mario Raceway, another classic raceway level. Let's get that started. You guys ready?
Yes.
Yes? Alright, here's the countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. While we wait on them to get ready on Mario Raceway, a classic raceway level. One of my personal favorites.
Okay.
Okay. Alright. Both of them taking these mini turbos around the turn, relatively even at this point. Now, will they cut on the inside of that big mushroom on the edge of the track? That still remains to be seen. Cutting across the grass right here to be able to use this long shroom and cut across a long corner. Oh no, big mistake by Lewis. Oh no, big mistake. Had to use even an additional shroom. That's a very unfortunate start. Alright, one wrong move and we are back to even. Brian pretty far ahead at this point. Lewis taking on the inside of that mushroom needs to gain all that time back that they can. Brian with a great mushroom across the gap right here. Cutting across this other corner is also a little bit faster, even without using a mushroom. It just happens to work out that way. People have timed it, of course. Brian once again taking it on the outside of the shroom. Doesn't need to save space on the inside. Oh no, but Lewis hits the inside of it, and that appears to be the basically end of the race. That is very unfortunate. Lewis with apparently a DNF compared to Brian's 117.75. Better luck next time to Lewis, spinning off at the end of the race. Alright, let's get that on the board. Brian's first race. Congratulations to Brian. In the second set. 17.75. Where are you, Mario Raceway? There you are.
Let's go to Luigi Raceway again.
Okay, give me 1 sec.
Let's go to Luigi Raceway.
17.75. Alrighty. Going back to Luigi Raceway. Back to the Luigi Raceway for the second time. As this is a second set, they are allowed to actually go back. Pretty cool feature that they can do.
I am ready.
We are ready? Alright, let's get this countdown going. Starting in 3, 2, 1, go. So right now, Brian is in the lead in this set, but he is losing by 1 set to Lewis. Okay. As we get these started, it looks like now. Yes. Make these even a little bit. Alright. Ooh, Lewis unfortunately going off the track a little bit at the very start. Don't know if that'll hurt them or what. Oh no, it looks to be just an artifact of the different camera zooms. They are relatively even at this point, never mind. Brian using a zoomed out camera while Lewis is... Brian using a zoomed in camera rather, while Lewis is fairly zoomed out. Messing me, the commentator, up, of course. Thanks, guys. Just kidding. Seems to both be finishing with a pretty solid 34.1x time. Both very close to each other. This is anyone's race at this point, as it truly should be on Luigi Raceway. Both of them going into the tunnel. They are neck and neck even at this point. Oh no, another mistake by Brian. That missed mini turbo is going to cost him one more time. One of the worst places in this track to miss your mini turbo because you have to actually drive uphill. Not that far behind though. Still relatively even. Apparently Lewis must have missed a mini turbo earlier at some point as well. Still anybody's game. One more mini turbo out of the tunnel. Both going around the final turn of the track, and let's see who can win this second track of the set. And it appears to be barely by 0.4 of a second, Lewis, with a time of 141.33. Let's get that on the board. Compared to Brian's time of 141.73. Great job to both of them. Congratulations to Lewis on barely edging that one out. Alright, which track, whose pick is it? Which track are we going next?
DK.
Ooh, a big DK track, one of the laggiest tracks in this game. This is a crazy track to pick. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Alright, countdown. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, DK, the cool thing about DK is that it is laggier by a lot compared to every other track in the game. It is very, very laggy. The point of being like 2/3 as fast. So how will these competitors be able to react to the basically different engine speeds compared to the normal game? Alright. It's not as bad as it is in other levels in time trials, of course. but it is still... Oh no, a big mistake already out of the bat by Lewis. Very unfortunate. Missing the jump onto the ramp. Has to take it really wide and jumps and falls in the water. Oh, this is getting worse and worse. Alright, one mistake like that from Brian will make it back to even. It was taking a little bit less. Lewis using the mushroom right there to cut over the section, while Brian uses it at the end of the lap to get all the way in. Brian finishes the first lap with a time of 39.33, while Lewis is still going all the way down over the bridge. Two big mistakes at the start of the laps means that this race may already be over before it even begins. Brian taking it nice and easy. Doesn't need to take it hard with the mistake already by Lewis, but that's alright. Lewis makes it up this time and makes it across the gap. Cutting all the way through the ship. Oh no! Getting hit by the ship as well. Can't cut it that close if you fall in. Oh, things just seem to be going worse and worse to Lewis. This is a very unfortunate turn of events. Basically everything that can be going wrong is at this point. Ryan finishing lap 2. While Lewis still a lot of the ways through lap 2, hasn't even gotten really close to the ending yet. Brian all the way back up onto the ramp. Again, cutting it relatively close. Or not really cutting it that close, rather. The luxury of the mistake by Lewis. Lewis finishing with a 52-second second lap. Cutting across the inside of these corners. Interesting thing about this... Oh no! It just keeps getting worse. Hitting another ship. Oh no. It's respawned all the way back down there, and it looks to be another DNF by Lewis. Either way, a great finishing time by Brian with a time of 2:03.24. Let's put that on the screen. 3:24. All right, where are we going next, guys? Which track are we going to next? Thinking real hard about this one. Needs to get a really good time.
Let's go, Rainbow.
Rainbow Road, the longest track in the game. Let's go. Let's do it. You guys ready for it? Ready for the countdown?
I'm so excited to.
Oh, I know. I know you guys are so excited. Have to build themselves up to this track. You guys ready?
Yes.
All right. 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, the thing about Rainbow Road, the longest track I believe in the Mario Kart series, even in itself. This track is a behemoth. This track will probably take around 5 minutes in total, if they have a great time. Oop, let's cut that right there. Oh, Brian, I should mention at the very start right there of the track, with the big gap, it's actually faster to stay connected to the road because you get a little nice boost at the end. Not a real boost, but like a real fast speed right at the end. So if we can see who stays connected at the very beginning, that'll be important. In the meantime, though, through the rest of the track, it's nothing but pretty smooth sailing driving, using the mushrooms to get up hills. The only problem on this whole track are the chain chomps. One chomp hit, and that's a good, like, 5 seconds off your time, going all the way back to full speed. This is going to be really interesting to see who can pull it off without hitting any of these chomps. Hi, DK. How's it going? Cool little feature of all of the neon lights here. When the neon lights are off screen, they have a draw distance of when they go a little bit off screen, they actually turn off. They disguise that by turning them neon, so it actually features as if they would turn on and off. But in reality, it's just to hide a flaw of the game's engine. Pretty cool though. I love seeing them even as a kid and even now. Right now they're both going up the hill. passing the Bowser neon light. This is a long one, folks. You'll see already a minute and a half has passed. The Mario Raceway was already completely done at this point, and we are not even finished with lap 1. Alright. Slowing down a little bit there. Ooh, Brian unfortunately falling off while Lewis getting connected to the track. That'll help Lewis a little bit. Lewis, I believe, was already a little bit in the lead. So it's coming down to just who can edge out these turns a little bit faster than the other. Can Lewis hold the lead they have? Ooh, both cutting on the inside of that chomp. Great cut there. Can can Lewis hold the lead they have, or will Brian be able to come back in this behemoth of a race? Both going up the spiral. There's actually a shortcut you can do to jump all the way over to this part of the track from the very beginning of the track. I should mention, shortcuts are not allowed in the regular part of this tournament. However, once per tournament, or sorry, once per each versus session, each competitor can bring up a shortcut track they want to do, a shortcut 3-lap, which will be very interesting to see if either of them go for it. Both of them using this shroom to get up the steep hill a little bit faster than just driving up it normally. Be interested to see if either of them go for a shortcut to try and eke out some time, a faster time over the other opponent. Both of them just doing mini turbos around these turns. Very essential to do as much mini turbos as possible to conserve all of this speed. I love this music. Really brings me back to my childhood memories. Yeah, basically, seems to be Lewis a little bit faster as well, but this time Brian sticking to the edge until the very end, while Lewis gets a little bit of a bump. Let's see if this can give Brian the edge that they need to make this comeback. Basically, once, essentially, each competitor can use the shortcut trick once. Can choose to do a track shortcut once in this stream. So Brian can do it once, and Lewis can do it once, and choose a shortcut track. Sorry for that slightly muffled explanation. It's alright. Lewis seems to have that slight lead, eking it out further and further. See if he can equalize this set count. Right now, Brian is winning in this set. Ooh, Brian a little bit slower past that chomps. It's really one of the best indicators. What looks to be Lewis's race to lose at this point, as we pass the 4-minute and 20-second mark. Aha! Oh, Brian almost ran right into that thwomp. Had to cancel that mini turbo. And finally using this last room up the hill. Brian not drifting. That'll cost him a little bit even more time. Drifting with the mushroom gives you around a 1/20th speed boost, and at this level the competitors need everything they can get over using a normal mushroom. It's 1.05 times faster. Both of them going around the last turn as we hit the 4-minute and 50-second mark. A run of Super Mario Bros. 1 would be done by now at this point. Both getting an over 5-second time. Let's see who wins, and it appears to be Lewis with a time of 5:30.35 compared to Brian's 5:05.65. No real big mistakes, just slightly optimized mini turbos all throughout the whole thing, and that time builds up. Great job to Lewis. Let's get that time on screen for you guys. 5:03.35, as well as 5:05.65. Alrighty, so which track are we going to go on next?
Let's do Moo Moo Farm.
Moo Moo Farm, the classic. This track is essentially one of the most randomest tracks of the whole game. You guys ready for the countdown?
Yep.
Yep, alright. 3, 2, 1, go. Okay. Basically, for this track, the moles are essentially random. They're not essentially, they are literally random. So this will be really interesting to see who gets a better mole pattern. One mole hit will essentially make it a lot harder to win the race. Alright. These moles coming up over the mole hose, it is actually faster to cut across. Will they cut it? Or will both competitors take it safe and avoid the moles if possible? Here we go. Ooh, both of them appear to be cutting over the moles and then going around the second batch. Smart by both competitors. Do not want to lose a race to RNG. Feels bad enough to lose a PR attempt to RNG in the third lap, let alone a 1v1 race. Both of them taking the mini turbos around the track. Lots of cows on this track. Big fan of cows. Drink milk up today. Lewis cutting through the moles. Both appear to be taking relatively safe routes to avoid a lot of the molehills. Let's see if this will have any effect. It looks like Brian rather, is a little bit behind. Let's see if he will take it a little bit sharper to try and shave off that fraction of a second behind in this last lap of the race. Going underneath the bridge, the big bridge in Moo Moo Farm. They go for broke. Oh no, a mole hit on Brian's side, and that will finish the race essentially. No mole hits on Lewis's side. Very unfortunate to Brian. Was that a new PR? A new fastest time on this kart at least, with a time of 1:15.33. Good job to Lewis. Was that a new PR? New personal best?
It's on my Japanese cartridge.
Oh, this is on the right cartridge. Oh, well, a new kart personal best at least. Congratulations to Lewis. Let's get that time down right now.
It's on my Japanese cartridge.
1:15.33 compared to 1:18.11. Unfortunate to Brian for hitting that mold. Better luck next time. Alright, it is now 3-2. Where are we going for the potential final track of this set?
Let's go, Toads.
Toad's Turnpike. There are a lot of cars in this track. You gotta be super careful. You guys ready for the countdown?
Yep.
Alright. Yeah, 3, 2, 1, go. Alright, the thing about Toad's Turnpike is that there are a lot of cars in the road. They are not random. The cars are always in the same spot at the same time. So if you have a good race, they will always be at the same spot. Let's see if either of these competitors hit a car trying to eke out some time. Alrighty, and we are back into it. Both cutting on the inside. This will be a nice corner cut, cutting it as close to the corners as possible to avoid these cars. Normally they would have a lot of leeway on a track like this to not have to cut it as close to these corners, but if there is a car in this left lane, they're going to have to be really careful not to hit it. Have to cut it as close as possible. Probably going to use a mushroom either around the turn or up a steep hill at some point. You can see the cars are actually on the same spots on both of their screens. Not random. This is a pretty close race, although it looks to be that Lewis is pulling ahead already. Lewis using a mushroom around the last turn of the lap. I wonder if that was intentional or not. It looked to be intentional. I wonder. Brian a little bit farther behind, but has that mushroom in the back pocket now. This is interesting. A little bit of a different route. Brian cutting on the inside of that bus. Huh, I never noticed the Nintendo was different colors there. Huh. Compared to be on the version differences. You can see little pictures of Toad sprinkled throughout this track. It is Toad's Turnpike after all. You gotta be super careful not to hit any of these cars. Brian taking this mushroom around that school bus, evening it out a little bit, but it looks to be that Lewis still has a slight lead. Just from slightly more optimized driving overall. And Lewis uses the final shroom to get a lap time of 50.73. Interesting strat. Brian seems to be using them all at the same spot, while Lewis is using them at the end of the lap to get a little bit faster on the next one. Not really sure which one is faster myself. Let's see and who is a better driver at the end. It is coming down to the wire here, folks. Both going underneath the overpass. Seems to be Lewis's race to lose. Will they get a set 2 in this first 2-3 set count? Gunning in between the cars. Any car hit is fatal, and the cars are so close right now. Have to be very careful. And it looks to be Lewis taking that home with a 2:32.48. Just under 2 seconds faster than Brian's 2:34.10. Let's get that up on the screen. Cove Turnpike. 2:32.48 compared to 2:34.10. And that will be the second set. Even with a couple of DNFs, Lewis still taking that set over Brian. So now it is back to Brian's turn to pick a track. Who's gonna win? This could be anyone's game at this point. Although,
DK.
back to DK again. Alright, I do love me some DK. Lewis up 2-0. You guys ready for the countdown?
Yep.
Yep, alright. 3, 2, 1, go. And they are en route in DK Jungle Parkway. Let's see if this will go any better for Lewis this time. Lewis, unfortunately, with the DNF last time, but still with a pretty hefty 2-0 set lead. Brian's got to pull something together if he wants to win this one-try league 1v1. Oops. Alright. Both going underneath the bridge at the very start of the track. Let's see, they gotta take it close. Ooh, Brian unfortunately hitting the wall there, has to cut it a little bit wide, but Lewis unfortunately hitting the wall once again and missing the ramp jump. Oh, will he make it this time? Oh, barely makes it. Uses that mushroom immediately, needs to make up this time. How are you gonna make up time when both competitors have 3 sets of mushrooms? I don't know. It all comes down essentially if they can get faster driving at this point. Brian's going to use a mushroom right here as well to get up the cut across the very steep wall right there. Lewis unable to do it as they already used their mushroom earlier in the lap. Trying to get a boost after that jump. Brian taking it, cutting it pretty close. Not as close as possible. They do have some time leeway, but Lewis making it across. Oh no! Another mistake by Lewis, who just can't seem to get this level down today. Very unfortunate. Oh man. And another mistake. Hitting the ship. It just can't get any worse for Lewis at this point. He's so far in 2 races hit 7 ships. Seems to be aiming for the ship now. This ship really needs to show how much they don't like it. In the meantime, though, Brian still going throughout the track, making it across the gap. Still cutting it, taking it pretty close. Lewis doing a full 360 off that, 270 rather, off the ramp. Kind of just messing around at this point while Brian finishes the race. A very good pick by Brian to get this first track of the set. Probably a good chance that Brian's going to get it at this point, if I do say so myself. Using the shroom up the ramp, and a respectable time of 2:01.54 compared to Lewis's did not finish. Let's put that up on the board.
In practice, I've been so good up on this track. You have no idea. It's getting like 156s.
Oh no.
I don't know.
Well, it's alright, just nerves.
In practice, I've been so good on this track.
Where are we going?
Luigi's.
Going back to Luigi Raceway. Alright, are you guys ready for the countdown?
Yep.
Yep, alright. 3, 2, 1, go. Luigi Raceway, we've already seen it before. Luigi Raceway, every set, I would love it myself. I do love seeing that track. One of the most essential racing tracks, even designed as a racing track. Where race is, well, even in the name.
Okay.
Okay. Thanks for interrupting me, announcer guy. Alright. Seems to be a pretty common pick of Brian picking DK and then Lewis picking the Raceway. Probably some kind of insider knowledge, basing it on each other's strengths and weaknesses. Seems to be going pretty well for both of them so far, none of them missing that very important mini turbo on the exit of the tunnel. Really don't want to miss that one, trust me, I've missed it a lot myself. I know the pain and frustration. Lewis around 0.2 of a second faster on the first lap. Still anyone's game though at this point. Will Brian make up the time with one small mistake from Lewis? One missed mini turbo will give them that time back. Both entering the tunnel at roughly the same time. Both getting the exiting mini turbo as well. And both using the 2 shrooms on the second lap to go even faster, finish the lap even faster. Brian losing still a little bit more time, even though it's only a little bit. That time is adding up at this point, needs to pull together something. Although one missed mini turbo from Lewis, one really long one, will give Brian the time back that they need. Still, anyone's game at this point. It all comes down to the final stretch of the last lap. Who's gonna win? Both mini turboing like crazy. Their hands must be on fire in this 1v1 one-try league match. Ooh. One last mini turbo at the end, but unfortunately it is not enough for Brian. Lewis taking this one with a 140.79 compared to Brian's 141.42. 141.42. Better luck next time to Brian. Getting counterpicked and losing again on Luigi Raceway. Let's see, next up, Brian, where are we going in this next race?
Let's go Mario Raceway.
Another Mario Raceway seems to be going on a lot of the same tracks. Alright, you guys ready for the countdown?
Yep.
Alright, let's go. 3, 2, 1, and go. Sorry about that. That was a bad countdown. Well, it's okay, I'll sync them up.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. Oh. Alright, both cutting across the grass at the start, using the start boost to get a little bit of extra speed. Drifting with that start boost does get you a little bit of extra speed to go a little bit faster. Now let's see if Lewis will make the same mistake as they did last set on this track. Hopefully not. I believe they actually hit a plant. Both going into the pipe. Let's see. Cutting across the top. And Brian with their first lead lap of the set, winning by 1 frame. It is this close, ladies and gentlemen. First lead lap, aside from DNFs, of course. Still anyone's game. One even small mistake, a couple of extra frames on a mini turbo, can make this easily anyone's game. Ooh, and Lewis with the faster second lap. Will Brian be able to make up this time and finish it out? Or will Lewis overcome their Mario Raceway demon? A missed mini turbo by Brian earlier, unfortunately losing a little bit more time. Lewis with a little mini lead at this point and finishing it with a time of 1:16.24 compared to Brian's 1:17.04. Winning by 0.8 of a second. Congratulations to Lewis. 24. compared to 1:17.04. Alrighty then. 2 tracks to 1, Lewis's side. It is also Lewis's pick. Where are we going? As a reminder, they still do have, each of them both do have a shortcut available. So if they are feeling desperate, they can use that to try and gain at least one race back.
Let's go, Rainbow.
Rainbow Road again. Let's do it. Alright. Another long one in for
Let's go,
everybody. You guys ready for the countdown?
Yes.
Yes? Alright. 3, 2, 1, go. Both of them starting on, once again, the longest track in the game, Rainbow Road. Let's see if any of them can get a sub 5-minute time this time. I know it looks like they're both going really fast, but you can go even faster, and when they're going for PRs, they're going to be taking everything as close as possible. PR standing for personal record, the best that they have themselves, their personal best. Alright, let's see. Oh, both of them missing that at the very start. Neither of them getting the speed they want from that ramp. Still relatively close. Hopefully they don't get struck by lightning by any CPU opponents. Just kidding, this isn't 150 cc. No items or enemies to be dealt with in this time trials mode. This is just a strictly who can drive better. All both of them get are 3 mushrooms. Ooh, a slight mistake by Brian, unfortunate, losing a little bit of time. Messing up a mini turbo. Fortunately, in time trials, if you mess up the mini turbo inputs, you do not spin out. In 150cc, you do spin out. So it is you have to be very careful there. So that mistake by Brian cost them a little bit of time. Lewis with a slight lead. Strooming up the ramp. Both of them hitting the wall at the end of that ramp. Now, hitting that wall does lose the shroom, but at that point it has basically outlived its usefulness, helping them shroom up that little mini ramp and conserve a lot of that speed. When you're driving uphill in this game, you do go a lot slower. Both going around the spirals at the top. Yeah, if you see any pauses or anything, it's just me, the streamer, syncing the 2 races together, trying to make it as cool as possible. While they go over, and let's see, ooh, Brian unfortunately not getting stuck to the track like they wanted. Very unfortunate. Oh, Brian almost hitting that chomp there. Going down the big fall right before the boo. Lots of things to be said about the entire Mario 64 community. If you guys like time trials or stuff like this, check out MarioKart64.com. You can figure out the top times and even maybe compare against your own. Join up there. It's a great experience. I've been on there for a while. I have a couple PRs. And both of these players are fantastic players. I believe in or around the top 100 of all the Mario Kart 64 players in the world. Oh no! Unfortunate mistake by Lewis that'll give Brian the edge, hitting a chomp. That's a big mistake at this point in the race. On lap 2, you gotta be really careful about that. Right now, Brian has the lead. Doesn't look to be by much, though. Lewis was a bit ahead even before that chomp, so now Brian unfortunately not getting as much as they could have out of it. But still, any lead, any help here is a good piece of help. 141 compared to a 144. Ooh, Brian gets the fast way down, but Lewis gets it slightly faster. Both of them conserving this mushroom. Don't want to use it on that ramp. Want to use it on the big ramp later on in the race. Oh, Lewis is frozen for a little bit. There we go. We're back. Both of them are around the top 100 of Mario Kart 64. So check out both of them as well as the Mario Kart 64 site itself. You got lots of crazy racers from all over the world there, and it appears to have roughly evened out. Lewis just driving slightly better than Brian, even with a chain hit. Chomp hit, rather. Chain chomp hit, rather. This is going to come down to the wire of this 5-minute long marathon of a race. Looks to be Lewis using the mushroom a little bit faster. I don't know if that is because they're ahead. Let's see, compared to this chomp. Oh no! And Brian hits a chomp, and that essentially seals the deal unless Lewis makes a mistake here as well. Both of them hitting a chomp. Oh, that is very unfortunate. Not what you want to see. It is Lewis's race to lose at this point, with a slower Rainbow Road than last time. Last time, neither of them hit a chomp. This time, they both hit one. Super Mario Bros. 1 would be done right there. And Lewis finishing with a 5:05.51 compared to Brian's 5:09.26. Alright. And Lewis seems to be on match point. Only needs to win one more race to actually win this entire thing. So Brian has to do something at this point. Has to pick a race that they know they have a great chance of winning just to try and keep themselves alive. Alright, where are we going? And whose pick is it? I believe it is Brian's. Where are we going?
Let's go Yoshi Valley Joker.
Yoshi Valley Joker. That appears to be they're using their shortcut card. So, Yoshi Valley 3-lap shortcut. This will be an interesting track. You guys ready for the countdown?
Sounds good.
Yep.
Sounds good? Alright. 3, 2, 1, go. In the meantime, I will be explaining what this is. Basically, they will be trying to do a shortcut right at the very start, jumping over jumping over the fence to hit a little portion of the wall and get placed back in front of the finish line to get a second lap. They're both probably going to be going for the crazy shortcuts. They need to give it everything they've got. This is essentially who's going to set up. Both of them turning ahead a little bit. They're going to turn to the left right here, hop a little bit. Lewis seems to be a little bit faster ahead, and Lewis does not get it. Oh, that is a big mistake. Brian appears to have gotten it. That means Lewis has to go around, and it's probably Brian's bag, but you can never be too sure. You see Brian on the second lap, Lewis getting it this time. If you bounce to the left here, that means you got it. Will Brian get it? Brian, yes. Brian bouncing to the left, that means they did get it. Lewis getting it right here. Oh, what an angle fix by Lewis, correcting themselves by going to the left and getting this third lap. Brian needs to set it up pretty fast. Does not need to actually, relatively, because Lewis has to drive around. Do they get it? It looks like they did, getting hit by the wall and bouncing to the left. Will they be able to finish faster than Lewis does the backup shortcut? Yes, they do, finishing with a time of 57.13. Lewis doing a backup shortcut right here, and getting it with a time of 102.80. A very close race and a very interesting shortcut round, using Brian using their one Joker card they get. Wow, what a great...
So fast, that was crazy.
That was a very fast... I was about to say, that was a very fast backup shortcut. Commendable, and that was a
Lewis,
great...
I thought I had more time than that, buddy. When I was practicing, I was like, I probably got like a minute 10, minute 15.
No, it's so funny because I was practicing that as well.
Wait, what?
I was practicing the YB shortcut for the Joker as well.
Okay. Alright, that's not correct. 57?
I was practicing that as well. Let's see. Okay. Practicing
Sorry about that, fixed on the stream. Alright, so that was the one Joker card used by Brian. So where are we going to go, Lewis?
Let's see, okay. Probably Toad's Turnpike, but give me a second.
Okay, giving him a second.
Let's go Banshee. Seems pretty That's a neutral track.
Neutral track?
That was actually like the worst track I was doing on.
That'd be a good one to go if you're Brian, but... I mean, at this point, you do kind of have a couple races.
Alright, yeah, let's go Toad.
We're going back to Toad's Turnpike. Gotta be careful of the cars. You guys ready for the countdown?
Yeah.
Alright. 3, 2, 1, 0. 0 means go.
Yeah.
Toad's Turnpike as well. I've already mentioned these cars are all in a set position. Lewis appears to probably have a better Toad's Turnpike personal best than Brian, which is why they keep going back to it. Alright. Gotta be super careful around these cars throughout the entire thing, and also careful not to hit the wall too much as you're gonna lose time. Both of these racers going relatively fast, no big mistakes so far. But Lewis is on match point. If they win this race, they win the entire thing. Only losing a couple of tracks, only losing one track that was not a do not finish, I should say. Losing 4 tracks in total, but that's only if they win this race, because Brian can still bring this back and can still even win the whole best of 3. Lewis finishing lap 1 with 50.61, Brian with a 51.49, almost a full second behind. Needs to pull something together if they want to stay in this race. This is a pretty crazy 1v1 set we have going on here. Lots of tracks going. A nice little Joker shortcut card being used earlier. That was a treat. You love to see stuff like that. But we got a nice Toad's Turnpike out as the sixth race in this 3rd set. Both of them passing the red sign. Ooh, Brian hitting the wall a little bit. Saving these room for lap 3. Brian still also 4/10 of a second slower a little bit, it looks like. Will Lewis be able to close it out? Both with fantastic mini turbos throughout the level. You can see them getting the letters to red basically as fast as possible and then releasing the drift to get a little mini extra boost of speed. That's what all the Yoshi sounds are from. Every time they get a mini turbo, they get a nice little mini sound boost. Speed boost, rather, as well as the sound playing. Brian using the last mushroom. Will it be enough? I don't know. Looks like Lewis basically has it in the bag at this point. Passing through the cars. One last wave of cars to get through before the end, but one car hit could do it, and that is the end of the set. Congratulations to Lewis, the set winner, with a 232. With a 232.94 and a 234.35. GG's to both competitors. Congratulations to Lewis for winning this one try 1v1. Good to have everything.
We'll have to play some exhibition matches before our next matches.
What'd you say?
I was saying to Brian, we'll have to play some more exhibition matches.
Oh yeah,
Sure, man.
Yeah.
those would be a treat.
We'll have to play some exhibition matches before our next matches.
Alright, let me get this up on the stream so we can officially pronounce the winner.
We'll have to play some more exhibition matches.
One last
Thanks
thing.
for the commentary, by the way, Ted.
No problem. Thank you, everyone, for watching. I've been 11059. Good job to both of these players. Lewis and Brian, both well loved in the Mario Kart 64 community. Lewis wins the best of 3 with a 3-0, only losing 4 tracks. 4 tracks? 4 tracks. GG to everybody. I've been 1TED59. Check me out on Twitch. Check out both of these competitors on Twitch as well. Lewis as well as Brian. In the meantime, thank you all for watching. This has been twitch.tv/speedgaming. Check out later today, at 2 p.m., the A Link to the Past Randomizer Daily Race. 2 p.m. EST. In the meantime, I will see you guys next time. Peace out.